Now, shocking footage shows over a dozen men attempting to land on a beach from a small boat in Spain.
Yeah, clearly it looks like a holiday destination as well. Now, Mark White, our Home and Security editor, has caught sight of this footage and brought it to the table. What exactly does it show, Mark?
Well, I think just as shocking is the fact that this is not uncommon. It's happening in Spain, in Greece, and also in Italy on a regular basis, a daily basis. So this is Castel de Ferro, which is down in Granada on the Mediterranean coast. A fast boat coming in there with 13 young men on board, diving into the water, swimming ashore to then try and escape off into the hinterland. Quite a few of them were actually stopped by holidaymakers on the beach, and the Spanish police, to their credit, were on scene very quickly indeed and managed to round up a few of those migrants. However, of course, a number of them disappeared and will be making their way to wherever they go. We know that many of them head up to Northern Europe, to countries like Germany and France, and ultimately many of them, of course, across the Channel to the UK. We got some other images we can show you, which is, well, that's an image where one of the holidaymakers is pinning them down. This is Almeria, which is in a different Spanish resort. Again, another boat's just come right to the shore with more migrants running off onto the beach and trying to get away from the holidaymakers. This is back to Granada again, that migrant. I mean, there's just crazy shots of that migrant just running through the beach there, trying to avoid holidaymakers that are trying to do their part and grab them and stop them for the authorities to, as we can see here, eventually take them away. I mean, that holidaymaker looks like a bit of a bruiser.
He feels strongly about illegal immigration, that one.
He clearly does. Decided to sit on top of that particular migrant. So as I say, this is happening in so many different areas of southern Europe because it's a main route in from the Middle East and Africa. They come across from North Africa on boats, sometimes fast boats, like that boat that came ashore at Castel de Ferro, but others come across in slower boats into the Spanish islands, the Greek islands, the Italian islands. We know that Greece, for instance, have said no more asylum seekers for the time being, that they have decided to detain all those arriving after thousands arrived in Crete, overwhelming that particular holiday island just in the space of a few days. And 180,000 last year alone came through this route over the Mediterranean and into these southern European countries.
Have you had a random call lately from a strange number, maybe trying to sell you something or even scam you? If so, your info could be out there. That's because of data brokers, shady companies that scrape the internet for your personal details and sell them to marketers or even scammers. These days, scammers can even use AI to mimic your friends' voices and trick you into sending money. It's not just annoying, data brokers often target vulnerable people with high-interest loans or sketchy offers. But there is a solution. Incogni, the sponsor of this video. Incogni contacts data brokers on your behalf and requests your info be deleted from their databases. And because your data can keep popping up, Incogni keeps sending removal requests to make sure it stays gone. They've just launched a new unlimited plan with custom removals. If you find your info on a weird website, just send them the link and their privacy team will work to get it taken down. Getting started is easy. Hit the link in the description, create your account and let Incogni handle the rest. It's risk-free for 30 days and you'll get 60% off an annual plan with the code GBNews. Take back control of your data with Incogni.
Well, Mark, I mean, given that these people are travelling this almost Odyssean journey across the Mediterranean, hopping on a small boat across the Channel escorted by the French and then picked up by the British. I mean, it's a doddle in comparison.
No biggie.
No wonder they're all jumping onto those boats in the English Channel. If they've done this journey first, I mean, it's the last hop, skip and jump just across the United Kingdom, a tiny proportion of their journey.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they will have travelled through, particularly the Middle East and Africa, through some very dangerous war-torn areas to get to North Africa, often to get to Europe through that route. The other route, of course, is through some of the border countries in Eastern Europe. They'll come through Bulgaria and Poland and other countries in Eastern Europe to try to get through that route. Another 180,000 last year coming through that route as well. And many of them have those rich industrialised countries, well, they see them as rich industrialised countries like Germany, France and, of course, the UK.
Because, so we're hearing from Germany this week that they've cut the number of asylum applications in their country by about half since January, so they're getting tough. And you've got Greece getting very tough. Denmark has been tough for a while now, haven't they?
Yes.
Poland and Hungary, always been tough.
All latterly, though, and Germany's got a lot to answer for because it was under Angela Merkel back in, 2016?
She said willkommen.
Yeah, where she said welcome.
Yeah.
And, of course, about 1.5 million Syrians took her up on that offer, and they've had no end of problems ever since.
But are we going to see these European policies just fall apart? Because it seems as though, I mean, Germany, for example, they're being told you're undermining European Union rules by getting tough on asylum applications. They're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Greece presumably is as well.
Yeah.
Hungary's always in a battle.
Italy is as well. We know
is as well.
that Italy came up with the agreement with Albania because of the way in which the island of Lampedusa and other areas in Italy were being inundated. I saw myself across in Lampedusa how it was just unsustainable.
That was extraordinary, the footage.
Tiny, beautiful little island just overrun by tens of thousands of migrants. It was just not at all something that island could cope with, and the central government had to move in to do something about it, and they did. And since then, they're still coming, but not to the same extent.
I mean, it does bear thinking about what if Friedrich Merz, the current Chancellor of Germany, had come out on top in the sort of 2002, I think it was, power struggle against Angela Merkel. He came second in that. She won over in the CDU. I mean, if he'd have beat her in over those years of sort of power struggle with Angela Merkel and had been Chancellor and taken a tougher line on migration, throughout the 15 years that Angela Merkel was Chancellor, I mean, how different would Europe look today?
She had so much historic guilt, didn't she?
I think the thing is that I'm not sure that Friedrich Merz, even back then, would have taken those decisions because I think so many countries in Europe, in the European Union, they were just so myopic in terms of what the end result of millions of additional people coming into the European Union from war-torn countries, countries that, had a pretty wretched standard of living and dysfunctional governments, it was always going to end potentially in tears. And we see it particularly in Sweden. Sweden is the one country, I think, that is the real example of how extreme the issues can become. The number of murders, bombings that take place on a daily basis in that country, the criminality from these gangs that are ethnic gangs, migrant gangs that are now involved in criminality.
And they're trying to reverse as well. They're trying to reverse what's happened as well.
Yeah, all latterly are trying to, do what they can to get on top of what is a serious problem for all of these countries.
Yeah.